I was proud of our team effort, especially our defense. I thought they played a really good game, for 4 quarters, got constant pressure on the quarterback, got a couple takeaways. It was great to have Cooper, obviously, back. His stat line was pretty impressive, and he made some big-time plays. I think offensively we started fast and then stalled in the second half and didn't probably perform the way we'd like to, but you got to give them a lot of credit. I think that defense has come a long way. I got a lot of respect for Mike and his staff, Ad Durde, for their ability to get those guys to play, and they play hard and they play the right way, and it's a good scheme, and so you got to give them a lot of credit. And but I also want to give a big shout out to our fans. I mean, I definitely was not expecting that many Packer fans in the stands. This is a tough place to play. It's extremely loud. And I was shocked when our defense was on the field and I could hear our Packer fans. So I definitely think that made a difference for us.
You guys are probably going to have to play on the road. When you get in the playoffs, you're going to have to be, road warriors. How do you like how you're handling these situations when you're on the road?
You must have listened to my post-game press deal with Larry. It's exactly what I said. I mean, that's the reality of it, more than likely. So, but we just got to keep stacking wins and try to take it one day at a time, one game at a time. But I like our guys' confidence. We came out, we started fast. We knew that was going to be a key to the game, to try to take the crowd out as best we could. And I thought, the first half was a pretty clean half. CV had a huge pick for us, and we were able to take it down in points, get points at the end of the half. I totally mismanaged the end of the half. I mean, that was 100% on me. Just being too indecisive, putting it on Jordan, giving him a call at the line of scrimmage. It just took far too long. So that is something that can't happen, and that can cost us if it were a tighter game. So that one's on me.
Were you thinking they'd just get into field goal range and get into a half 17-point?
Not necessarily. It was a moment where I was indecisive, and then didn't want to call timeout because too much time had ticked off the clock, and then I should have called timeout and didn't. It was just poor management and something that can't happen.
And Jordan was checking to a play. Is that
Yeah,
what
he was. Yeah, I gave him free reign to get to what he wanted to, and but I shouldn't have done that. I should have been more decisive and had a play called for us. Got on the ball. Definitely did not want to give him the ball back before the end of the half, but once we got into midfield, we needed to be more aggressive, and that was just lousy play calling by me.
You could obviously see it in the stat sheet, but what did having Romeo back mean in this game?
Yeah, how about that catch, that second touchdown catch? That was big time play. I love how Rome works, and he's been pretty consistent for us when given opportunities, and he comes through. So it was cool to have him back out there, and it's hard to get all the guys the amount of touches you'd like to when you have a room that you feel is pretty stacked, and you got a lot of guys that you want to get involved, whether it's our running backs. Certainly Tucker Kraft made some big time plays, but that's a good problem to have.
With a young team, what is the process like of instilling that killer instinct in games when you just go finish it? And how important was that touchdown to put a stamp on this one?
Oh, it was big time because it felt way disjointed in the second half. I mean, that's the reality of it. And, again, give them credit. I mean, that's a good defense. But I thought there were some opportunities there we just didn't capitalize on. And some was just lack of execution, and others was terrible play calls.
How do you look at those pass interference ones to Christian? So, Jordan said he wanted to get the ball out there a little bit more, but he still gets it, in a situation where the receiver has some sort of an advantage. I mean, you consider those?
Are you talking about the last fourth down, or the last third down?
Well, was it the first half pass interference down to Christian when the guy was right in his chest? He said he wanted to get that a little farther down the field. But I mean, are those plays you consider good decisions on his part because he sees a guy one-on-one and thinks maybe he can get interference?
I would think so, yeah. I mean, if we have a lot of confidence in our wide receivers, no matter it's Rome or Wicks or Watson or Jay Reed, Bo, any of those guys, and when they get one-on-one ops, we expect them to make the plays. And then, I mean, a PI it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but those are some chunk plays.
Matt, what is it about Cooper? You know, I mean, he's a rookie, he misses 3 games, and then, you know, he gets in there and just has a huge high-impact game. What is it about him that allows him to do that?
He's just a hell of a player. And I think Half does a great job of putting him in positions to have success. And it's been fun to watch and witness his growth. I think Campanelli does a hell of a job with that whole room. Those guys have all gotten better throughout the course of the season, whether it's Quay, whether it's Eric, whether it's Isaiah. They are all improving. Hopper, every guy in that room, and it's because of the consistent coaching that Campanelli does. And I think Halfley does a great job of, you know, putting those guys in positions to make plays. And then Coop's a hell of an athlete, man. He's a really good football player. I think he's just scratching the surface of what he could become in this league.
Gino going down obviously changes the game for the Seahawks, but how about the sacks in this one? Was that just a plan before the game, or was that opportunity?
I think that's the plan every week, right? It's just whether or not you're able to go out there and do it. Yeah, obviously, we're always trying to get pressure on the quarterback. That's the number one way to disrupt anything on offense. So, but our D-line came to play, and they did a hell of a job and just got constant pressure. And you never want to see a guy like that go down. I got a lot of respect for Gino and just watching him through his career, how he's reinvented himself, and he's playing really good football. I mean, you're not the second-rate passing leader in this game for no reason. I mean, they got a lot of good players over there, and he does a great job. So hate to see it for him and for them to go down. We never want to see that, and it's unfortunate, but that is part of our game.
You guys are 10-4, just had a pretty decisive win against a really good team and a really tough place to play. How close do you feel like you guys are 3 games ago to realizing and reaching what potential is?
We'll see. We're going to take it one game at a time. That's just the mindset that we've always had here, and I still think there's a lot to improve upon, and myself included, obviously.
How much does that weigh on your mind when you know playing go back to Green Bay tonight? You guys just had this big win, but the things that are still out there.
I mean, that's kind of the mindset that we have, is just how can we get better? And I think you got to keep pushing that envelope and trying to strive to reach your full potential.
Did you guys spend some time on screen passes this past week?
We did.
In practice?
Yeah. It came up handy, right?
Yeah.
We did a really good job. I got to give Half a ton of credit. I mean, I think he just he does a heck of a job, man. It means a lot to him, obviously, but he does a great job of putting our guys in position, always coming up with things to kind of offset wherever our holes are. Because, you know, me being an offensive guy, you always think that you can poke holes for any defensive scheme at some point. And it's just you're constantly trying to stay ahead of the competition. And Seattle does a great job in their screen game, so we knew that was going to be a part of this game. And I thought our guys went out there and took the coaching and executed at a high level.
Giving it to Josh the first 8 times, 2 in the screen game and 6 running the football, was that just intentional to set the tone, just wanting to go through him at the start?
Yeah, that wasn't necessarily the scripted plays in order. Obviously, I think the first 3, I want to say, out of our 30 plays or whatever we had scripted went in order, and then I just felt like we were getting good movement up front, and so I just kept leaning on the run game, and Josh was running hard and getting downhill, and so just kept feeding him the ball. It kind of set the tone for us as well.
Kind of start with both safeties back quite a bit.
Apparently, 2 more questions does not apply to you. What was that?
Didn't they start with 2 safeties back quite a
Yeah,
bit?
that's their defense. And early on, we knew it's extremely difficult to get behind this defense. They do a good job of keeping a lid on the coverage, and we knew the checkdowns were going to be huge. I thought there were some opportunities in the screen game going into the game. So that's why we came out with those right away. I mean, rarely do teams screen back-to-back. So there was just some intent behind that, and our guys went out there and executed, and it set us up in a good position.
Thank you, guys. You got any feel for Quay, whether that's bad or anything?
I don't know. I just know they told me at halftime he was going to be out. You guys good?
Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Does anybody have any other questions? Tomorrow? All right.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah. All right.
One more.
What you got? All right. Take care, guys.